Miguel Rivera writes, am I wrong or is DC/WB setting up a Suicide Squad versus Justice League movie? With Batman and Suicide Squad and the Joker references in Batman vs. Superman, do you think this crossover can happen? I haven't heard anyone talk about this and it's just something I've been thinking about. Can this be true? Is it even possible? Thanks, love the show.
Well, first of all, I think we're phrasing the question wrong because you're asking, can the crossover happen? Well, this is all one shared universe, so it's all, whether it intends to or not, it's all crossing over. I mean, we already see Batman is going to be in it at some point in some level. But could Warner Brothers be setting up a Justice League versus Suicide Squad movie? I would say no chance. But the reason I would say no chance is not because I've heard them say they're not going to do it. It's simply because of this. That ain't a fight I want to see. Yeah. Aquaman can take out the entire Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman can take out the entire Suicide Squad. Superman will not have much trouble with the entire Suicide Squad. Batman can and I think we're going to see it in Suicide Squad, Batman can probably keep the Suicide Squad in line himself. So having Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman versus a guy who's a really good shot and a guy who throws boomerangs.
There's a crocodile, John. There's a talking killer crocodile.
Human crocodile. That wouldn't be much of a fight. I mean, it just wouldn't work. So no, I don't think they're setting us up. I do think we're going to see a lot of cross-pollination in all of their properties, and I'm certain that Suicide Squad is not the last time we're going to see members of the Suicide Squad. But are we going to see Justice League versus Suicide Squad? I can't see it happening. Mark, am I wrong?
I mean, the Justice League is going to be going after pure evil, you would think, too, after Batman and Superman get over their little tiff eventually. Suicide Squad might have some characters that you're like, well, I mean, the whole premise of Suicide Squad is that there's some really bad people out there. We need to assemble this ragtag group of ne'er-do-wells to go take care of them. The fact that they're both in the same universe, I don't think you're ever going to see them fight because I agree with you. I think it'd be a pretty easy victory for the Justice League. It might be a preseason game so they can get some backup, some reps, but I don't think that's going to ever be a main villain in a film. However, you are going to see elements of Suicide Squad going forward in these Justice League movies. I just don't see them maybe scrimmaging like, 7-on-7 drills. That's about as far as I can take that.
I just love your analogy of a preseason. Let's send in Kid Flash and Jimmy Olsen and Alfred to take out Suicide Squad.
I think there'll be pains in the asses for the Justice League.
Yeah,
and maybe help out some of the other villains, but I think we're going to see in Batman v Superman that we're going to start getting, and this is what Man of Steel did well and what the universe is going to show. Unlike the Nolan universe where it was based in realism, this universe is going to start getting more of the supernatural stuff and the more of the super villains. So we're going to introduce that as each film progresses. So that just the normal villains, like you guys said, it just won't cut it. The other thing that I don't know that maybe you know is timeline wise, like where does the Suicide Squad land? Is that before Batman v Superman? Is that after Batman v Superman? Like, I don't know where that lands.
I think Batman v Superman is probably going to give us some insight into that because like you see Batman on Joker's car and I wouldn't think they would do that as a movie that takes place before.
Well, we know what happens after Man of Steel because they mentioned Superman. So I'm just curious as far as where it lands because
it's a good question though because Batman is coming out of retirement to fight Superman, so maybe he hadn't retired yet.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, no, it's a long discussion because again, how long?
Clearly it's after Man of Steel. Right, so clearly Suicide Squad is after Man of Steel because we hear Waller mention Superman, right?
Right.
So Batman, we see him in the Suicide Squad, so therefore he's come out of retirement. If Batman versus Superman is where we see Batman coming out of retirement, then it would logically flow that Suicide Squad should come after it.
Unless that's a flashback.
Yeah, unless it's a flashback. Yes, exactly.
So we don't know. But in regards to the question, I think that there'll be a lot more harder villains for those guys to fight, and I think we don't want to see them fight.
Like the Monstars and LeBron?
Right. Monstars.
Superman, get out of here.